Good afternoon and welcome along to Destination Wellbeing. My guest this afternoon is Mary Jane Burns. Mary Jane, we are very welcome back again.
Thank you.
I think we were chatting just off camera there, and Mary Jane had joined me around Christmas time, so hard to believe that we're already into talking about being towards the middle of April and or end of April, I suppose, at this stage, and into New Year. But we're bright and sunny in Newry today, so it's
beautiful being here.
Beautiful
I
day.
picked a lovely day.
You did indeed, and hopefully brought some sunshine with us. But the weather's been so lovely over the last few weeks. Just to mention at the start of our show, Mary Jane and I will be chatting about health and wellbeing. And if you have any concerns about physical or emotional health, obviously the first protocol is always your GP. And there are then other options that maybe can be explored in conjunction with that or separate from, depending on what you decide. But it's really, I suppose, all holistic practitioners will recommend that the importance of taking responsibility for your own health and your own well-being. And today, I know the last day you were here, we were chatting about obviously mental health and all that. Slightly different angle today, but to cover, I suppose, the area that you do in terms of DARE, the dissolve and resolve emotions, which you know, sometimes we really do need to dare. We do. We really need to be brave to tackle some of these things that are there, aren't they? So tell us a little bit more about how you find your way to DARE and Joy's work. And
I think, well, I've been doing complementary therapies for some time now, and then when I met Joy Wisdom, 4 or 5 years ago maybe, and started on the path of training with her, there's more of an integration of the acknowledgement that we carry the emotions physically in the body. The memories are in the body, and when we've gone into shock, you know, that can go right down to our bone level. And then when we're coming across similar situations again, it can trigger us back into those emotions or something completely out of the blue. So Joy will be very much about dealing with the physical body, helping it relax and release the emotions. And then you can kind of work on and getting the heart open as well, because we often close down and go into shock and we can't feel things. So sometimes we think all the emotions aren't affecting us, but actually are we still in that much shock that we're not kind of feeling them? We're kind of in that frozen kind of state,
where it's
numbed.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the key thing really with our journey to health and well-being, is recognising that things have maybe gotten in on a level deeper than what we possibly realised at the time. Sometimes what the body needs to do to get on is just get on. It doesn't need to deal with it there and then in a particular situation, because that may be too overwhelming or too much. Plus it needs to go through whatever it's going through, but then there comes a time when we can't keep it kind of buried or in that box anymore.
Your past catches up with you in one way or another, and you don't realise you're carrying this, pulling the cartload behind you. Of whether that came from when you're in your mum's womb and you maybe picked up the emotions and the feelings of what was going around in the family. Maybe mum wasn't well during the pregnancy, or even a bereavement or something like that was going on. No fault of mums, no fault of babies, but that can have an impact.
I think sometimes there can be that concern whenever we start to talk about how things affect, and particularly in the mother-baby relationship. And the next level to that is the guilt that can come with, well, if I hadn't have felt X, Y, or Z, then, you know, this wouldn't be happening. Or you know, when we talk about children picking up on things from adults and stuff, there can be a natural slip into guilt in that level.
Of course there is, because I think in our society we kind of think that we're stuck with those emotions and there's nothing can be done about it. So then the instinct is feeling guilty about that child.
And how
whereas once we kind of relearn how to release and let go of that, because each child has its own journey as well, the same as mum does. So it's about
well, I mean, very often, I think that's one of the things that can, I know I'm working with clients myself, that even just pointing that out, that yes, you know, whilst they are your baby, they are a human or a soul or both, with a journey that means that on whatever level, for whatever lessons you're going to learn from each other, that has been pre-decided on some level somewhere, and so therefore it's not about blame, it's about just recognising, it's actually using the power of recognising that there is an emotional impact with different
That's
things,
right.
or there is a cause and an effect.
There is.
And when we identify that and use it from the powerful
Positive,
position,
yeah.
the positive way of saying, well, okay, if this is the reality, I can bury my head and do nothing about it and keep it stuck.
Yeah.
Or if this is the reality,
Yeah.
I can use the tools that are
Yes,
there.
exactly. I
to
can
move
help
it and
myself
clear it
and
and
I
help
can
myself.
help my child. And from dad's perspective as well, because sometimes when we sort of mention birth and pregnancy, it sounds very female, but actually everybody's been born.
Yes.
So
and
even
everybody's
males,
been-
they've had their own birth
yes.
process as well. that can
And
affect.
they're
And
part of the
dads,
conception process.
exactly,
With baby's not
exactly.
there without
Yes,
both male and female.
Exactly. So, it's very much about that holistic dealing with kind of everybody that sort of has an impact on a family in whatever way. And also aunties, uncles, grandparents, because sometimes our beliefs and patterns are passed down through the family.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of the lineage family patterns or the society that we're born into,
And, is this, when we talk about the DARE works, I suppose there's different ways there's different options in terms of different viewpoints of doing different things, but with the DARE one, is that, would it initially be seen as a conscious process? I mean, do these things need to be known to be talked out, or does it happen it happens
Bit
on
of
a
both.
subconscious? Yes.
I think it's nice that you're engaging the client in maybe where they're feeling that emotion, that physical pain or whatever it is, so that when you're doing the treatment, there's an engagement. It's not like they've come to me, and I'm going to heal them, make them feel better, or cure me, whatever it is. Don't like those phrases. But when they can feel the difference, the softening in the body, or if they're visual, you're getting them maybe to look inside, see what colour it is, what it looks like. So there's a bit of engagement in that process, but not about necessarily talking about the event, because the more we talk about it, we're increasing the emotional
the more
impact.
we ingrain,
yes.
And, I was reading a quote the other day that things are only in your life if you think about them.
Yeah.
And I think that's so true.
Yes.
It's the incident can happen, whatever the incident may be, good, bad, or indifferent, but it only stays with us if we continue to engage with it.
It is. We make it our story. We make it our history.
Yes.
And do we need all of that? And sometimes, again, that's being done on a subconscious, unconscious level.
Yeah.
But if it's causing a friction in our lives, something there just needs to be gently dissolved away.
Yeah. And is that so that would people then be, I suppose, aware of what's been dissolved away, or do they just feel better?
Again, it depends on the client, because it's again although it's the emotions, we kind of can hold that on that physical level. The bruise may have healed, but the kind of the emotional wound or bruising or the pattern of that could still be there. So it's very much about releasing the tension that's been stored in the physical body. And sometimes people can kind of feel that as the body's releasing. Sometimes people even say, oh, it just feels as though someone stabbed me in the back. It feels as though I've still got a knife there.
Yes.
So it can be,
it's the link between the
that
two.
link, that impression.
And I think that sometimes whenever we're talking about physical health and emotional health, we tend to have fallen, or I suppose physical, emotional, mental, different terms, we tend to have fallen into a way, I suppose, a path or a way of thinking that they're different. That mental well-being is separate from physical well-being, and that if you're physically unwell, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything going on emotionally, because your physical body's disconnected from your emotional body. Whereas I think the more we journey, and I know from it, it's more of the realization that in fact the physical is very often the body's way of communicating what is actually going on emotionally. So for me, whether it arises as a physical health concern, sore back, sore leg, whatever the case may be, or emotional or mental health concern in terms of depression or anxiety, in a sense they're really one and the same.
They are, because it's the body trying to just flag up, there's an issue here, help me.
Help
and it'll shout louder and louder and louder
until we listen.
Until we listen. Or, and again, if it's gone down to the root of chronic illness, there's still things that can be done that we're not carrying the emotional trauma of that in the same way.
So it's all, I think it's having a variety of tools in our box, because sometimes people you know, we've done the talking, and the talking, we talk till we're blue in the face sometimes, and you know, it can ingrain. There's a time for talking, and it's good to talk, and but sometimes there's also a time for just letting the body do what or the body or the energy or whatever it may be.
As Joy would say, listen to the body. It's telling you. So whether that's clinical practices or it increase, you know, my intuition levels have increased because the more I've cleared myself of my own stuff. I can listen and feel in a different way. And she says that client, each person has their own story of the way they viewed life. It's and because you can have kids in the same family or people in the same family, and they can react in completely different ways. Yeah, I mean, because our vision is different. It's like the energies around us. Some people call it an aura, but that can become foggy and clouded. It's like if I'm wearing my glasses and I've got a fingerprint on them or smear them, I need to wipe them. But that, if I'm looking out through that smog and fog, that's going to affect how I view life. Or sort of the way I maybe react in school would be completely different to my sisters.
So, you know, as we were saying, that idea of a family being in the same set of circumstances and recounting something similar, I mean, even in terms of one event, you could look at somebody could go in, you could have 30 or 40 people in the room, and the next, you know, and everybody's heard something completely different, despite the fact that the content is all there.
Like, oh, no, Mary Jane, it didn't happen that way. And I go, it did. From my perspective, your perspective.
Or, no, they didn't mean it like that. When somebody said such and such, and you're thinking, no, they did mean it like that. And you're sure, and they're sure, and you know, everybody's sure that they've got it right. Whereas really, as you say, it's our perception of that, and it's allowing those to kind of to clear. And I suppose the key thing being that it doesn't really. There are different ways of getting there for us as an individual, and this is one of those ways that you find that has worked really well for you and for your clients.
Yeah, because I think because Joy as well, you know, she's trained in different modalities in the past as well, so she's got that kind of background as well. And then she was saying there was always something missing, not quite clearing right. Why does it reoccur? So she dug and dug and dug, and now she's sort of got the Illunis and the sort of the Zest for Life programs and training. And it took me a while, maybe sometimes, to realize, you know, she's right. And there's something there that we were kind of maybe missing, maybe a bit piecemeal in the past. So she said one therapy was helping with one aspect and another with another, but this sort of just brings them all back. And she was recently awarded the Inspirational Woman of an Author of the Year. Fantastic. For the depth of the training and the amount that she gives in those courses. Because it's about working on yourself. It's not about just learning how to become a DARE practitioner to help others.
No, well,
it's about me clearing me and looking at my stuff and taking responsibility for myself and looking after myself.
Well, I think that was, I read a quote this morning, and anybody that follows my Facebook page will have seen it. You know, I haven't met a strong person that hasn't had a difficult past, and I think sometimes when we talk about therapies and things like that, people maybe look at holistic therapists and think, but you know, what do you know about life and what? But most of us get to where what we're doing because it has helped and made such changes in our own lives, which drives our passion towards support. It's not a case of, well, I'm trying to preach to anybody what to do. It's more a passionate thing, and in terms of this has been such an inspirational, life-changing tool for me to have, that I want to share it with other people. And obviously in doing that, so you know, that brings, you have to do the work on yourself first before that all falls into place. But from an actual treatment then, so if someone decides that they would like to do to begin to dare to do the work, what can they expect? I mean, is it bed based?
Yes, it is.
So it's couch based.
Yes, you'd be lying down on a treatment table. And the sessions are usually 2 hours, so we actually use an airbed as well for the extra cushioning and comfort. And then there would be sort of blankets over you as well, because your temperatures can sometimes fluctuate during therapy as well, as the body goes into that deeper space of healing. it can start to feel cool, especially if we're releasing kind of old stuff and old memories. You know, that can affect the temperature. So you just kept all nice and cozy and comfortable. You're fully clothed.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that for a lot of people sometimes maybe are afraid of couch work or body work in terms of being exposed, or
that's it. And there's no manipulation of the body. Maybe placing the hands maybe somewhere on there just to sort of feel are the energies kind of flowing correctly. Does it feel like there's a blockage in that system? And then just kind of helping give the body that energy to sort of help clear itself.
So it's energetic work.
Yes,
in that sense.
Yes. And that part of it we've called the Diamond Ingus light healing as well, which comes into it. Which is interestingly, Joy picked up on that and sort of received the information of it when she was over here on holiday.
Right.
I think it was 2007.
Okay.
And she says they gave her the opalescence part of it first, and she was saying, this is too strong. You know, the energy, we're still stuck in the sort of the heavier energies here. So then she got the foundation healing, which, and again, it just helps you heal yourself.
First and foremost, physician heal thyself.
Exactly.
And, I mean, it
so
goes
for,
right back
for someone,
to,
you know, it's a bit like the sort of like energy healing and things like that. So it's just a combination of techniques and tools. You end up with a lovely toolbox of things to use for yourself and your family.
Yeah. So so there is that self-treatment or self-awareness that comes with it as well. And we've obviously mentioned Joy, and Joy's due to come on a tour of Ireland in the next few weeks.
She is indeed, yes. From the 18th to the 24th of May.
Fabulous.
She starts in Dublin, so she's like Monday to Friday in Southern Ireland, and then up here in the north on the Saturday and Sunday. Here in Newry, actually, on the Saturday evening.
Yes, that's Saturday the 23rd. And is that with a view to the practitioners, so possible people that might consider practitioner, or is it just an information evening for across the board?
All of the above.
Okay. Yeah.
All of the above. Because although it's a talk, and yes, she will be discussing, again, if there's any questions people have about this and they're not sure what did Mary Jane mean by that, Joy will be there to explain it. She'll have 2 hours to go through this.
Yeah. So it's that idea of sometimes when we go or we hear something, then we have the domino kind of or ripple effect of that life begins to even change. That sometimes just those 2 hours can be enough to start to instigate changes. But the information given there will be of that mixed knowledge. There'll be stuff there for someone who maybe just wants to begin to explore it and work on it themselves, or for practitioners who would like to incorporate the work into their practice.
Yes, so, definitely.
I mean, it's a great opportunity to have Joy so locally as well, which is fantastic. To get that. So definitely that's, and it's an Elysium Wellness Centre, which is beside the Canal Court in Newry, so pretty easy, nice and central and easy to find. And that's on Saturday the 23rd of May, and it's an evening talk, so maybe make an evening of it. And,
7 till 9.
7 till 9. So, and then in Azora in Hillsborough on Saturday, Sunday the 24th. So, and that's an afternoon? Or
no, that's a full day.
Oh,
well, that's from 10:30 to 4:30, and again, it's a free one.
Okay, brilliant.
So the information in that one is, you know, very much be some of that was on the evening one, that some people want to come to both or one or the other. But again, that free day, it's such a gift because it will be a lot more that you can take away, and explaining more in depth of how these impacts happen, how things affect us and what we can do, and the whole awareness of that. And then the different programs and treatments that Joy does, you know, what suits you, because everyone's different. You know, where would your passion be?
How that all comes together. So very very exciting. But again, and the other side then is of course to mention that if anybody wanted to experience a treatment, that you work in both.
Oh yes.
There is
that as well.
In there, yes. And we'll have your details on the website on the show as well.
Yes,
so
and Joy calls her program Zest for Life, and that's true. It just brings back that kind of your passion and energy and joy and understanding. Especially for, you know, some of the kids that are so sensitive and not sure, you know, about how, you know, maybe they're finding it difficult in school, and sort of how things like that impacts on them.
And sometimes that, you know, I think that's again, we're talking therapy has its role and is very beneficial, but particularly maybe for some children or young people where they maybe can't quite express exactly what they're feeling.
They
don't have the words to know what they're feeling, but they know they're not feeling right. So it's that. Well, Mary-Jane, thank you so much for joining me today, and I really look forward to meeting Joy and hearing all that has to be said, and adding hopefully some more knowledge into the, as you say, into the toolbox of well-being.
Yeah.
And if anybody is interested in finding out more about Joy's work and indeed Mary-Jane's work, Mary-Jane's website will be on the bottom of the screen there, so you can have a little look at that. And thank you to our viewers for watching in. I'll be joining Rowan on Thursday morning on Destination Newry's morning programme, and I'll be back next week with Destination Wellbeing. Thank you very much, Mary-Jane.
Thank you.
Advertise your business here. Reach a weekly audience of 275,000 people. Be ahead of the rest. Call Damien on 078 08 80 34 75 or 028 308 34 012. So, you want local Newry and Mourne TV shows on your television? Which video box should you buy? Well, you have two options. Option 1 provides you as long as you have a good internet connection in your home with all the programmes from destinationnewry.com, including
inside the fencing when we were up there. That's such a change. And the dog muck.
Destination Newry.
Radio Evolved.
Hello, your weather for today and tomorrow with Destination Newry today.
First, this is Newry News Bite.
Well, what's crack in Newry and Mourne today? We all had a great September weather-wise.
We're going to go straight into today's show with a lively set of tunes from a band called
Well, good morning. Welcome to Destination Newry.
Tell me the provenance of that. Where did it come from?
Right there, and welcome back to the studio.
Good afternoon and welcome along to Destination Wellbeing. My guest is
Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Newry's Loose Women with me.
Well, it's hello and welcome once again to the programme. My name is Tommy Sands.
In the courts of the house of our God. Praise the Lord.
Philip Rogan, rather, wearing number 19.
Evening, everybody, and you're very welcome to Newry Showgrounds tonight again.
So that's option 1, and to choose this, click on option 1 below, or you can go to value.ie and buy option 1. Option 2 provides you, as long as you have a good internet connection in your home, everything you get for option 1, including all the programmes from destinationnewry.com, plus you will be able to add over 1,000 private or public channels at the touch of a button, most of which are free. So that's option 2. To buy, click below and buy option 2, or go to vario.ie and buy option 2. To choose your option, either option 1 or 2, just click on the buttons below, or you can go to vario.ie and click on option 1 or 2. When we receive your payment, we will deliver your box to your home, and all you need to do is plug it in and connect it to your TV and your internet. Any problems? We're here on standby to help.